You know that knot in your stomach when you check your bank account? That quiet panic when someone mentions retirement planning? That overwhelming urge to just avoid thinking about money altogether? Here's what nobody tells you. Your anxiety isn't protecting your financial future. It's sabotaging it. And I'm not talking about being cautious with money or wanting financial security. I'm talking about that paralyzing fear that keeps you frozen in place while your future slips away, one avoided decision at a time. If you've ever caught yourself putting off that investment research for months, or felt your heart race just thinking about budgeting, or found yourself making financial choices based on fear rather than logic, this isn't about lacking willpower. This is about understanding how your brain works against you when anxiety takes the wheel. The truth is, most people think anxiety makes them more careful with money, but science shows us something different. Anxiety doesn't make you cautious, it makes you reactive. And reactive decisions, especially with money, rarely lead to the financial stability you're desperately seeking. Today, we're going to explore 5 specific ways your anxiety is quietly undermining your financial future. And more importantly, I'll share 2 practical techniques that can help you start making clearer, calmer financial decisions starting today. First sign, the paralysis trap. You spend weeks researching the perfect investment, the ideal savings account, the best budgeting app. You bookmark articles, watch videos, make spreadsheets, but you never actually make the move. Sound familiar? This is what psychologists call analysis paralysis, and it's not about being thorough. It's about your anxious brain trying to eliminate uncertainty in an inherently uncertain world. Here's what's happening. Your anxiety convinces you that if you just gather enough information, you can make a perfect financial decision.
But perfection doesn't exist in money management. While you're researching, inflation is eating your savings. While you're analyzing, opportunities pass by. While you're planning, your anxious brain is actually preventing the very financial progress it thinks it's protecting. The cruel irony? The fear of making the wrong financial choice guarantees you'll make no choice at all. And in money, no choice is still a choice. It's choosing to let external forces decide your financial future, instead of taking control yourself. Second sign, the emergency mindset. Every financial decision feels like life or death. Buying groceries triggers budget anxiety. A small, unexpected expense sends you into planning mode for worst-case scenarios. You live in constant financial fight-or-flight mode. When your nervous system is chronically activated around money, something fascinating and destructive happens in your brain. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol. These hormones have one job: keep you alive in immediate danger. But here's the problem. Cortisol doesn't distinguish between a charging lion and a credit card bill. It just knows there's a threat, and it responds by shutting down your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, rational decision-making, and seeing the bigger picture. So when you're in chronic financial anxiety, you're literally operating with reduced access to the part of your brain you need for smart money management. You're trying to build wealth with the same mental resources you'd use to escape a predator. It's like trying to plant a garden while running from a fire. Third sign, the avoidance cycle. Bills pile up unopened. You don't check your account balance. Investment statements go straight to the bottom of the stack. The less you look, the more anxious you become. The more anxious you become, the less you want to look.
This creates what behavioral economists call the ostrich effect. Just like the myth of ostriches burying their heads in sand, we bury our heads when it comes to financial reality. But here's what your anxious brain doesn't understand. Avoiding financial information doesn't make financial problems disappear. It amplifies them. Every day you don't check your spending is a day you might be overspending. Every week you avoid reviewing your investments is a week you miss important changes. Every month you postpone financial planning is a month your future self pays the price. The avoidance your anxiety creates to protect you from financial stress actually guarantees more financial stress. You're solving a short-term emotional problem by creating long-term practical problems. Fourth sign, the scarcity spiral. You make financial decisions from a place of not enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough knowledge. This scarcity mindset doesn't just affect how much you spend, it affects how you think about money entirely. When your brain operates from scarcity, it prioritizes immediate relief over long-term benefit. You might skip investing because you can't afford to lose any money right now, even though not investing guarantees you'll lose money to inflation. You might avoid learning about finances because you don't have time, even though this ignorance costs you opportunities every day. Scarcity thinking makes you penny-wise and pound-foolish. You'll spend an hour finding a coupon to save $5, but you won't spend that same hour learning about compound interest that could save you thousands. You'll stress about a latte while ignoring the fact that you haven't increased your income in years. The anxious brain sees every financial decision as taking away from limited resources, but abundance thinking sees every smart financial decision as creating more resources. When you're trapped in scarcity, you're not just managing money poorly, you're training your brain to see fewer possibilities, fewer opportunities, fewer ways forward. Fifth sign, the emotional spending trap. You shop to feel better. You avoid budgeting because it feels restrictive. You make financial decisions based on how they make you feel in the moment, not how they serve your long-term goals. This isn't about lacking discipline. This is about using money to regulate emotions that feel overwhelming. When anxiety spikes, spending can provide temporary relief. When you feel out of control, a purchase can give you a momentary sense of control. When you feel deprived, buying something can feel like self-care. But emotional spending is like emotional eating. It provides short-term comfort while creating long-term problems. Every time you use money to manage anxiety, you're teaching your brain that financial decisions are about feelings, not about building the life you actually want. The real trap is that emotional spending often creates the exact financial stress that triggered the emotional spending in the first place. You spend to feel better about money stress, which creates more money stress, which triggers more emotional spending. It's a cycle that keeps you financially stuck while feeling like you're taking care of yourself. Now here's what's really happening beneath all of these patterns. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote something profound about control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When it comes to money, your anxious brain constantly tries to control things that are ultimately outside your control. Market fluctuations, economic changes, unexpected expenses. The more you try to control these external factors, the more powerless you feel. And the more powerless you feel, the more reactive your financial decisions become. But here's the shift that changes everything. You can't control markets, but you can control your response to markets.
You can't control unexpected expenses, but you can control how prepared you are for them. You can't control economic uncertainty, but you can control how much that uncertainty dictates your financial choices. Here's the first technique, the financial reality check. This is a simple practice designed to interrupt the anxiety cycle and reconnect you with actual financial facts rather than financial fears. It's based on research from behavioral finance showing that regular, structured financial check-ins reduce money anxiety and improve decision-making. Every Sunday, spend exactly 10 minutes with your financial reality. Not your financial fears, not your financial wishes, but your actual financial reality. Check your account balances. Review your spending from the past week. Look at one upcoming financial decision you've been avoiding. The key is the time limit. 10 minutes prevents the spiral into overwhelming analysis. It's long enough to gather real information, short enough to prevent anxiety from taking over. And it's scheduled, which removes the emotional charge of deciding when to face your finances. During these 10 minutes, you're not trying to solve anything. You're not making major decisions. You're simply observing your financial reality with the same neutral attention you might give to checking the weather. What's true right now? What do the numbers actually say? What's one small step you could take this week? This practice trains your brain to separate financial facts from financial anxiety. Facts are neutral. They don't carry emotional charge.
They're just information you can use to make informed decisions. When you regularly practice seeing your finances as neutral information rather than emotional threats, your nervous system learns to stay calm around money. The second technique, micro-step decision-making.
This technique comes from behavioral psychology research on overcoming decision paralysis. Instead of trying to make perfect financial decisions, you make tiny financial decisions that move you forward without triggering your anxiety response. Choose one small financial action you can take in the next 24 hours. Not a perfect action, not a comprehensive action, just a small step forward. Maybe it's transferring $20 to savings. Maybe it's reading one article about retirement planning. Maybe it's downloading a budgeting app. Maybe it's calculating how much you spent on coffee last month. The action should be small enough that your anxiety doesn't have time to build resistance, but meaningful enough that it creates forward momentum. You're not trying to solve your entire financial future in one step. You're trying to prove to your anxious brain that you can take financial action without catastrophe. Here's why this works. Every time you take a small financial action and survive it, you're literally rewiring your brain's association with money management. Instead of financial decisions equal danger, your brain starts learning financial decisions equal manageable steps forward. You're building evidence that you can handle financial responsibility without being overwhelmed by it. The most important part is consistency, not size. One small financial step every day builds more financial confidence than one big financial decision every month. You're training your brain to see money management as a normal part of life, not a crisis to be avoided. Think about it this way. Anxiety around money isn't really about money. It's about feeling out of control in an uncertain world. These techniques aren't just about improving your finances, they're about proving to yourself that you can navigate uncertainty with clarity and calm. Your financial future isn't determined by market performance or economic conditions. It's determined by the quality of decisions you make when you're facing uncertainty.
And the quality of your decisions depends on your ability to access the rational, planning part of your brain, instead of being hijacked by the emotional, reactive part. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Confine yourself to the present." Your anxious brain wants to solve every possible future financial scenario right now. But financial security is built in the present moment, through present moment decisions, based on present moment information. You don't need to have your entire financial life figured out today. You don't need perfect knowledge, or perfect timing, or perfect conditions. You just need to be willing to take the next right step with the information you have right now. Your anxiety has been trying to protect you by keeping you safe from financial risk. But the biggest financial risk isn't making the wrong decision. It's making no decision at all. It's letting fear choose your financial future instead of choosing it yourself. Every day you practice these techniques, you're not just improving your relationship with money. You're proving to yourself that you can face uncertainty without being paralyzed by it. You're building the emotional resilience that allows you to make financial decisions from a place of clarity rather than fear. So here's my question for you. What if the financial security you're seeking isn't found in having enough money to eliminate all uncertainty, but in developing the inner stability to navigate uncertainty with confidence? What if your financial future is less about what happens to you and more about how you respond to what happens to you? Try one of these techniques this week and let me know in the comments how it feels to approach your finances from a place of calm curiosity rather than anxious avoidance. Your future self will thank you for every small step you take today.